Exercise 7A-3, we're going to calculate the employer payroll taxes in this problem. From the following information, calculate the payroll tax expense for a bowling company for the payroll of April 9th. So it looks like we've got 3 employees. We've got information about their pay before this pay period, and then we have this pay period's wages. The FICA tax rate for Aussie is 6.2% on the first 127,200. Medicare is 1.45% on all earnings. Federal unemployment tax is 0.6%, so they're assuming the net tax on the first $7,000 earned by each employee. The SUTA tax rate for the company is 5.4% on the first $7,000 of employee earnings for state unemployment purposes. And of course, since we're working with currency, round to the nearest cent as needed. So what are the employer payroll taxes? Again, remember this problem is only doing the employer payroll taxes. So the taxes are, we've got Medicare, we've got OSTI, we've got FUTA, and we've got SUTA. So those are the 4 employer payroll taxes. Now, what they should have done is they should have given us a column for taxable earnings for FUTA and SUTA, because remember, the wage base for FUTA and SUTA is 7,000, and we've got some employees that are very close. One person is over, this person is very close, and this person is not going to be over. So we should have a column that says taxable for FUTA and SUTA, but the authors did not provide that for us. So I'm going to switch to PowerPoint and show you how to calculate the solution, because it's much easier to see it than doing it here on my accounting lab. And then we'll switch back to my accounting lab and show you the solution. So I've laid out the information for exercise 7A-3 in this table. On the far left, we have the list of employees, Adams, Carson, and Mason. The next column, we have their cumulative earnings, meaning their earnings prior to this paycheck. And then we have their gross pay, of which all of it is subject to Medicare, of course. And then we've got columns for earnings subject to OSTI and then earnings subject for FUTA, SUTA. The first thing we want to figure out is what is the total amount of gross wages. So adding up 825 plus 675 plus 260, we get $1,760 total gross pay. Next thing we want to do is figure out what are the earnings of Adams that are subject to OSTI. So remember, the OSTI wage base is $127,200. So look at Adams' cumulative earnings, add that to his gross pay, his or her. Will they be anywhere close to the wage base limit? No. So all of Adams' gross pay is subject to OSTI, so $825. How about Carson? You take Carson's cumulative earnings plus the gross pay. Carson is nowhere near the wage base for OSTI, therefore all of Carson's is subject to OSTI. And same with Mason. Mason is nowhere near the limit, so all of Mason's $260 are subject to OSTI. So we add that column up, and we get a total of $1,760. Now, it gets a little bit trickier. So now we need to calculate the earnings subject to FUTA and SUTA. So remember, in this problem, the wage base for FUTA and SUTA is $7,000. So let's look at Adams. We take Adams' $3,900 cumulative plus Adams' current pay of $825. You add those up, and Adams is lower than the wage base. So all of it is taxable, all of it being the $825. So the amount of Adams' gross pay that's eligible or subject to FUTA SUTA is $825. Now let's look at Carson. Prior to this paycheck, Carson was paid $6,700. Carson, this pay period, is being paid $675. So now we have to calculate, well, how much of that gross pay will be subject to FUTA-SUTA? When we take $6,700 cumulative earnings plus the gross pay of $675, Carson will be over the limit. So we need to figure out the amount under the limit. So how much would be taxable for FUTA and SUTA? It's the wage base, $7,000, minus Carson's previous cumulative earnings of $6,700. So that gives us $300 taxable amount for FUTA and SUTA for Carson. Again, I got that by taking the wage base, $7,000, minus the $6,700 paid prior to this paycheck, gives us $300 taxable amount for FUTA-SUTA. Now let's do Mason. Mason, previous to this paycheck, was paid $7,600. Well, Mason is already over the wage base, so 0 should be taxable for FUTA-SUTA. Then we're going to add up this column, and we get the total taxable for FUTA-SUTA of $1,125. Now I'm going to take these totals and bring them over to the next slide, and then we can calculate the actual tax. So the 1760, and then the 1125 and 1125 were all from the previous slide. That's the taxable amount for Medicare, OSTI, FUTA, and SUTA. Now all we have to do is take those taxable amounts and multiply them by the appropriate tax. So Medicare is 1.45%. So 1.45% times 1760 is $25.52. OSTI, we take the 1760 taxable times 6.2%, gives us $109.12. For FUTA, we take the 1125 times 0.6%. Now remember, to convert 0.6% to a decimal, enter 0.6 into your calculator, divide by 100, we get 0.006. You can also do the same thing by moving your decimal 2 places to the left. So 1125 times 0.6% gives us a whopping $6.75 for FUTA. And for SUTA, we take the 1125 taxable times 5.4%, and that gives us $60.75. We add those up, and we get a total employer payroll tax of $202.14. Now we are back in my accounting lab, and I've got the solution from the PowerPoint listed over here, so now we can just fill in our numbers. Medicare is 25.52, OSTI is 109.12, FUTA is $6.75, and then SUTA is 60.75 for a total of 202.14. So this 202.14 is the amount of payroll taxes that the employer will be paying. And that's it.